you are an alchemist. Okay, that's what you are. You're not limited to some tiny little set of patterns that you've been doing for however long, because you have the capacity to change and transform any pattern into another pattern, because energy never dies. It only moves on to something else. And so when we start to take our power in terms of moving the energy once again, you'll start to notice that you're not limited to any set of patterns that you think you're limited to. And the possibilities are endless. Like, for one person, what seems like a challenge or something is wrong, another person sees that as an opportunity to alchemize their reality into something else, because that's what you have the power to do always. You have the power to alchemize any pattern into something else. Now, how do you do this? Well, it starts with unconditional love, because you can't transform into something new while resisting the old. You have to not see it as bad. So that is step one, to not see the old reality as bad or unwanted. You can see it as unpreferred, like I don't prefer this, but you can't see it as bad universally. So the key is to start to realize that you have this capacity to step into an incredibly powerful state of consciousness where you're continually changing the unpreferred into the preferred, and you can always experience what your heart really wants, and you're not limited to just doing the same things again and again and again. And this is what happens when we get stuck, right? So I just wanted to remind you that you are an alchemist. That's what you are. You are an alchemist. You can perform magic. Okay, you have that power. You can perform real magic where you're changing, true change, and you're truly changing into something new. Now, it's important to remember that if you want to perform magic at the highest level, what you got to start to do is take a radical action. You have to take new actions that you've never taken before. So the key to really start to transform your reality is to start to realize that what got you where you are is not going to get you to the next level, period. And you can try again and again and again, but you'll have to change something. You have to change something holistically about your day, holistically about the way you are, holistically about the way you're showing up in the world. Something has to change, and it has to start with true acceptance of where you are, allowing yourself to see where you are, and then taking action in a different direction. One of my mentors told me that action is transformation. Okay, and I never understood that. In fact, I used to have a negative connotation to the word action. The word action, quite frankly, used to piss me off. I used to be like, oh, I don't want to take action. I don't want to do that. And I used to see it as like an overly masculine thing, like it's too toxic. Action is toxic, right? Action is something that we shouldn't be doing. Action is really bad. It's not spiritual, right? It's not spiritual to take action. We shouldn't be taking action because it's not spiritual. And now I really see action as one of the most spiritual things that you can do. It's very spiritual to take action. In fact, not taking action is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself, because what you're going to start to realize is that unless you take action and change who you are, your life is going to suck. And it's just that simple. It shouldn't be much more complicated than that. Your life is going to suck unless you take action. And you can convince yourself that it's not going to suck. You can convince yourself that you're happy, but you're not. You're not happy. You're not happy unless you take action. It's just simple as that. Now, what do I mean when I say action? What I'm saying is not to overly push yourself to the point where you feel horrible. Now, you can step into what some cultures call the middle way, where you're right in the middle, right? You're not overly pushing yourself, but you're not also totally in the feminine, where you're just content in a negative way, relatively, where you've accepted that you feel like shit, but you're not changing the energy. You've given up on reality. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want anybody to give up on reality. So what I encourage you to start to remember, and this is a remembering, right? Because you've just forgotten who you are, perhaps, is that you are an alchemist. And that action is one of the most beautiful things that you can do. Action is so beautiful and it's actually the most spiritual thing, believe it or not. Again, I used to think it wasn't spiritual, but the reason I see it as very spiritual now is because it's magic. It's literally magic. Action is magic, right? You don't even need to call it spirituality. Call it what you will. A lot of people are performing magic and they don't even realize it. But it's incredibly magical, incredibly spiritual to perform action in a way that honors your feminine and also your intention of where you prefer to be. When you honor both the feminine of where you are and where you prefer to be, you honor where you are, right? You don't dishonor the ego, but you also honor the intention of who you prefer to be next. When you honor both of these things perfectly, now you're connected to the truth of reality, okay? Now you're connected to the oneness of all that is. You've connected to God. You've connected to the truth. And when you're connected to the truth, you have a power that nobody will understand unless they experience it for themselves. But the key is to start to remember that action is not spiritual. So if you were anything like me in the past, where you used to see action as not spiritual, or this isn't going to help me be enlightened or anything like that, I'll just be honest with you. I'll just be very honest. I encourage you to drop that as soon as possible. Just drop it. Just remove that belief. Remove the belief that action is not spiritual, because that belief is going to hold you back. It's just simple as that. It's going to hold you back. It's going to straight up hold you back and not allow you to become who you prefer to be. You do realize that there's monks, right, that live on the mountains, and they don't just sit there and meditate. Yes, they meditate in harsh conditions, but what they also do is they also do ridiculous physical, emotional labor. Like, I don't know exact, leave a comment down below if you know what I'm talking about, but some monks will literally walk on the mountains and go just walk for kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and kilometers in extremely harsh conditions, in extremely harsh climates, just walking and walking and walking. And they perform what some people see in normal society, so to speak, as inhumane things. Like, holy crap, like, how are they able to perform such ridiculous things? Like, some people can chop through wood and break stone with their hands and all these kinds of things. How do they do it? Because they've mastered their energy. And they're not in resistance. They have unconditional acceptance to what is happening now, right? They value their state of consciousness more than to get some result. Now, the paradox is that when you value your state of consciousness more than the result that you want to get in life, you start getting the results in your life, because you see your state of consciousness as action. It's just action, 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 action. That's what enlightenment really is. You don't need to get somewhere. There's no destination to enlightenment. It's just action, 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 action. You just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep transforming for infinity, forever, until everything has been experienced, until the very end of time, which of course there is no time. So it's just for infinity, right? Infinity times infinity. That's what reality is. And so the key is to start to realize once again that action is spiritual enlightenment. Continual action, moving forward in a certain direction. That's what you came here for, to move the energy, to transform the energy in your own personal way, of course, that honors all beings, but you do it personally, uniquely, in a way that nobody else has done it before, because you are a divine creator. That's what you are. You're a divine creator, and you can keep transforming and keep changing forever. That's how beautiful of a being you are. You can just keep changing, keep transforming forever and 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 forever. And you just keep transforming more and more and more and more, and you're never going to stop. And that's great. That's what reality is about. And so, once again, here's a question just to conclude this video. I guess it's not once again, but the question is, where are you not taking action and doing new things in your life? Where are you stuck in some tiny little patterns again and again and again and again and again, expecting different results, right? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and to expect different results. You're not going to get different results by taking the exact same movements and same pattern. You have to be in that flow and that change where you're doing something new and it feels really different and it's kind of wonky and it's kind of like, whoa, this is new, and it feels very emotional and fluid and like, whoa, that's consciousness, right? Consciousness is fluid, it flows, it's not stuck and I'm a human and this is how I am, right? Consciousness is not just stuck, I'm a human and that's it. That's not what consciousness is. Consciousness flows and it changes and it's always flowing. And so where are you not doing that, right? If you can read what I'm saying energetically, you can feel the vibrations, right? I'm not just communicating to you here through words, I'm communicating a frequency, an emotion to you here. And one more thing I want to conclude before we stop this video here, this energy transmission of divine consciousness, is that action is not hard. Action as an emotion. One of my mentors told me, his name's Gavin Speaks, one of the older mentors that I worked with in the past. Maybe you've seen him on YouTube, because I don't want to take credit for this because he taught me this. But one of my older mentors told me that action is not hard. It's an emotion. It's an emotion, right? That's what it is. It's an emotion. It's expression. It's not hard. It's as hard as you make it. If you're in resistance to resistance, then of course action is hard. But at some point, you got to realize that action is just an emotion, right? It's just energy in motion. What is an emotion? Okay, let's just break this down right now. Let's just break this down to conclude this video. Let's just break it down here. So an emotion is energy in motion. Okay? An emotion is energy in motion. That's what an emotion is. And action is an emotion. That's what action is. Action equals emotion, and emotion equals energy in motion. And these are all one. So once you realize this, you can start to understand that actually what you can start to do is just feel your emotions fully. Just feel your emotions fully. 100% unconditionally accept everything that's happening. Feel the emotions fully. Don't resist anything that's happening. And before you know it, you're already in action, right? The emotion will guide you to take action. The unconditional acceptance of what is will guide you to feel, and what you'll already be feeling, and then that will guide you to take action. That is action. Action is an emotion. Action is a natural byproduct of accepting fully what you're feeling in this moment. And not just accepting it, but actually finding joy in it. Joy in the suffering, joy in the pain, joy in the pleasure, transcending both the pain and the pleasure, right? Because that's what humans do. We just seek pain and pleasure, and that's it. But that's not what you are as divine consciousness. You transcend both pain and the pleasure, and you find the joy in the middle of both. Okay, that's what true joy is finding the bliss between the pain and the pleasure, to find that joy in between. Like, do you really want to be just chasing pleasure all your life and avoiding pain? Is that what you want? If that's what you're subscribing to, then no worries, that's on you. But let's just be honest here. That's not me. I don't want to do that. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to be just seeking pain, seeking pleasure, and running away from pain. I'm interested in finding the joy between those two forces, right? And just finding that joy that is here now. And so remember, action is easy. Action is easy. I'll just say this. It's not easy or hard. It's not easy or difficult. It's not something you need to put effort in, and it's not effortless also. It's nor effortful, nor is it effortless. Francis, you sound like you're contradicting yourself and you're not making any sense. Why is that the case? Well, because, of course, reality is a paradox. Of course, reality is a paradox. Of course, every single second I'm going to be contradicting myself, because the truth of reality in of itself is a paradox, and so that's the truth. It's just simple as that. There's not much more to say. It's just the truth. There's not much more to say. I have nothing else to say. With that, I conclude this video. Once again, as always, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. That's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are the creators of their reality, divine creators of their reality, and that they can manifest their reality and do so, of course, in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does help YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next